Alrighty, folks. Let's see. Uh, I think I flipped the camera around. Bro. How do I flip this camera back? Let's see. All right, there we go. Cool. So we're live. We're in this thing, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Hope everybody's having a great Wednesday and a great week so far, and all of that good stuff. Oh, my water. Whew, I am going to need this. All right. So today we're gonna go ahead on and get straight into it. So today we're talking about remembering your power. Remember that movie, Remember the Titans? So remember your power, and this is something that we need to do on a daily basis because it is time for we are in shock and awe moments. We're in a time where you have nothing to it but to do it. Seriously, it is you in your corner cheering you on, moving forward to make great things happen. We're gonna make your life great again. That's what it's all about in these times. I'm serious. These are shocking moments. These are shocking moments that you can be proud of. Moving forward naturally in your life. These are the goals. You know, really and truly, why not? Because this is something. Hey, what is going on? How are you? So this is something really and truly just for you, man. This is your life. How do you want it? How do you want it to look? People talk about like how if you ever gone on an interview to say, hey, what do you see yourself in 5 years and blah 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 blah. Hey, how are you? So don't forget, if this is your first time watching Mr. Soul of a Man, ladies and gentlemen, do not forget, don't forget to subscribe. So they'll ask that question. So where do you see yourself in 5 years? Where you go on these job interviews, and some of us are struggling day to day. Like 5 years, man. Look, I'm trying to deal with the here and now. Seriously, I am really and truly trying to deal with the here and now. You're asking me about 5 years. We're talking about remember the power that you have inside of you, and with all of the struggles that we go through, within our daily life, it's easy to forget. Sometimes we have these deer in the headlight moments where things are happening, to us, and it might be real or surreal. It may be our first time going through it, but you uh, you have to remember that you are very powerful, and you have to remember that you are very amazing. That is the important thing of it. You have to know that. If nobody has ever told you, I don't know you. You don't probably don't know me. It's okay, but if no one has ever told you that, hey, I'm proud of you. I'm proud of your walk. I'm proud of the individual that I'm proud of the individual that you have blossomed into. I'm proud of the individual that you're becoming. You have these goals. You really and truly you do. You have these goals. There's something inside of you. There's something within. Really and truly that is telling you that, you know what, you know what's going to be okay. You know, really and truly, it's going to be okay. Despite maybe your anxiety or whatever it is, or your beliefs or a lack thereof, or you just believing in yourself. You know, something inside of you saying that, you know what, this time I'm going to win. And it's not just winning, and you know, this time it's not just naturally winning, but it's winning big. That's the important thing, you know. Yeah, I believe we all do. I have, like myself, I have like very, I don't like taking tests. I'm getting a little better with it, but even though like tests, I would study for them, but I would sit there and a paper would be in front of me, or I'd be staring at that computer screen, and I don't know. It's almost like I would freeze up. It's like when I was younger, I was deathly afraid of going to talk to the opposite sex. Like seriously, I was like, oh, it's a pretty girl. You know, like she was a lion in the jungle. So, you know, like I was introverted. I was, I was like, what, maybe 12, 13. I remember trying to talk to the first girl, whatever, and I didn't know what to say. You know, like my cousins were like rooting me on, and at least I had kind of like a cheering section. You know, thank you. At least I had kind of like a cheering section. You know what I mean? And I would look at her. She's like, "Who is this weirdo trying to?" She's like, "Who is this weirdo? This weird little awkward kid trying to walk up to me?" And you know, this is the time of my life. I had no money, I had no car. It was just me trying to navigate through society and gain confidence. But I will say this: I grew up in New Orleans, and it was brutal. those, those man, it was brutal. But going through going through all of that, and the awkwardness of the growing up, and going through, let me take this off of here because this thing is not. So yeah, anyway, so yeah, going through all of that awkwardness, like seriously, going through all of that, and that awkwardness has helped me to blossom into the person that I am now. So I can now go live and talk, and people might say, "Well, who's this weird guy?" Blah blah. That stuff doesn't bother me anymore. It really doesn't, because now I have the confidence to know that I can not just achieve and surpass my goals, that I can overachieve. And today we're talking about remembering your power. Even if that's, I've had to reinvent myself time and time again, to be dedicated to become. And thank you so much for subscribing. And this is your first time watching, and if you never subscribed to the channel, please do so. But I've had to do these things, so so that I could win. It's we all have our favorite movie, or we all have our favorite music artists, and I don't know, maybe actors or people who we like, I don't know, look up to, whoever they are. Maybe in a world of entertainment or life, and that's a beautiful thing. It's nothing wrong with rooting for other people, but rooting for when it all comes down to it, rooting for yourself is so much equally more important. Because when those people, whatever, you be there for your friends, your listening ear, or no, you try to be there for your friends, listening ear, all that good stuff. But the important thing is for you to be there for yourself. The important thing is for you to succeed, for you to win, going through life, climbing that mountain, hitting your head, over and over again, trying to figure it out, uh, failing, whatever. and getting yourself up, trying again. I remember I had to take my drive. I think it was my, how old was I? I don't know. I was a late bloomer, folks. So I was like maybe 19, taking my driver's test, and I think I failed it the first time. I might have failed it twice. Seriously, like I said, I had horrible test anxiety. So anyway, long story short, and back then I didn't understand these things. I really didn't. I really had no idea. But now we have social media and the internet, and these things are explained a whole lot more to us. Or if you're going through something, you can put it in, and the internet or the AI will give you a diagnosis. We didn't have these things. Like so many odd years ago. So it's just we had to be real. We had to really be tough. We had to tough it out. We really, we we really and truly we had to tough it out, and that's just what that was. But I always, oh, my throat. But I'm glad that I had people in my life that believed that believed in me, that pushed me in the way that they knew how. Now a lot of that, really and truly, now a lot of that is on me. And thank you for liking a lot. A lot of that stuff is really on me, on us. Getting up every day, going to school, going to work, whatever it is that you're doing right now in your life. Maybe thinking certain people are your friends. You find out that they're not. So, what is it? Oh, yeah. So, what is it that you do um during those moments when you find out that people aren't as, at this point I would rather know than not know, because people are very much inclined to be something that they're not in certain moments. Oh, I'm not. I'm not. Well, I remember one lady told me on the job. She said, "Oh, there's no favoritism here. That's just in your imagination." And then you see other people becoming, I don't know, you see other people get more hours on a job, they're treated differently, and then they treat you like garbage, what I mean? And then it's like, oh, okay, cool. But I'm happy now that I have these spiritual gifts, and I have all of this, I have these spiritual gifts and this power uh, in me, within me, around me, to understand, to propel me, to make me go forward. And today we are talking, ladies and gentlemen, we are talking about remembering your power, because it is going to help you. This is your daily grace. Would they say, what they call spiritual warfare? We are in the thick of it. We are really and truly, we are in the thick of what you would call spiritual warfare. Some people have gifts that they might not even know about. Either they're going to use it in the right way, or they're going to. Let me see. How can I say that? Either they're going to use it in the right way, or they're going to use it in an unrighteous way, so to speak. People, evil eye, speaking crazy, trying to speak crazy things over your life. Them looking at you say, "Oh well, they're just going to be in that position forever." They look at you. They may look. You may tell. You're in a break room at work. You may tell them something about your life. Oh, I'm a single parent. Oh well, wow, you've got like three kids and it's just you. Well, your life's over. That these are like this. What people are, man. I'm telling you, that's why I like when I did have to go into the office, so to speak. I didn't say a lot. I really didn't. I just left. You know, I just they just I didn't say a lot about my personal life, and and I didn't ask about theirs. It just got to the point where, it was just like that, because people are, like I said, man, people are, they will find things out, or try to find things out about you, and or weirdly they'll try to look you up, and my name's out there on the internet, so you type, that's just what that is. But they'll try to, any little thing, any kind of leverage, they'll try to find, like this one job, they said now it's like, yeah, we have people to look up your social media and blah 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 blah. So I'm at the point, if I'm working somewhere, I'm working there, but I'm not working there. Like, I'm not putting any of that stuff on the internet. I'm not. Like, I'm not. There is no way you you better be some kind of computer hacker, because you are. It's just it's crazy. But anyway, just remember, remember your remember your power. A lot of a lot of our traditions, when I say like melanated folks, a lot of our stuff wasn't written down. A lot of it came through oral tradition. It was passed down by telling of stories, the remembrance, and all of that stuff like that. So, and for me, um, some of it came through church and all of that good stuff, but my uncle would tell me stories when he was around. But a lot of it for me came spiritually. It came through going on these spiritual journeys time and time again, time and time again. You start one journey, you begin another one. You start one journey, you begin. It's like, and you keep leveling up, you keep elevating, and all of that good stuff. And them not just telling me, but showing me, showing up in real time. And oh, thank you for the gifts. Them showing up in real time. Seriously, like me being able to see them. And being able to see them, hear them, feel them. See them in dreams, and all of that stuff. Man, I remember. Man, when was this? I don't know, 2021 maybe. Anyway, so I was in here. I think I was just it was just like a normal day. I was just in here, and I was just sitting down, and it was like this light, just it was like, how you see somebody walk across the street like this. I was just sitting on the sofa, and like this light just comes, and it's just like sits right next to me. And I'm just like, I'm just sitting there. I don't remember like what I was thinking about, or well, I don't know. It was just a I don't know. I guess we would want to call it a normal day, but this like light came and just like sat right next to me, and I was just sitting there. And at this point, I'm used to this stuff. Like, at real, I think anybody, I think, like, you know um I really, I really feel like anybody else, it would have like freaked them out, and they'd be like, "Oh, I gotta move," the police is on it. It's not like that, Like, I've seen those stories of people, and dealing with like malevolent stuff in their homes, and I never, and I never had that to, and I never went through that. But it was just a peaceful, calming, powerful light that just came and sat next to me, and just as it sat, it was just there for like a few minutes, and then they would just like it checked on me. It would, just it was gone. But I say that to say, these powerful moments that these powerful moments that we go through, and we know that there's nothing wrong with us, because there are people all over the world going through this stuff. And I'm glad that I know social media has its crazy stuff. You know what I mean? I get that part, but just knowing that there are people out there that get it, that understand. Somebody who might say, "Oh, you want to go to school for nursing or to be a mechanic or I don't know, you want to be a CEO of a company." Oh, cool! I have that same dream. So you know that in that time or in these times that you are not a like that Michael Jackson song is coming to mind. You are not alone. So you know that you are not alone. You are a very high prospect, and you have a very high you have a you are a very high prospect. You have a very high IQ for one spirituality and for two business. So you're going to it's the spiritual stuff you do daily. That's just what that is. But now it's figuring out figuring out, okay, cool, how do I, put this together and monetize it, make money, what I'm trying to say. So they say ask not because you have not. So you need to ask for that, ask for that wisdom. Ask for that wisdom, ask for that understanding. Again, if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. So, ask and the coming together of the two. It's the bridge, the what do they call it? The intersectionalities of life and all of that good stuff. But knowing that you have that power. It's almost when I used to pull cards, this would be like a Two of Cups moment. It's like the intertwining. Things in your life are flipping. Like things in your life are flipping. Like like good news, good news, good news. Like everything coming together for the right time, for the righteous times. Because you have been you being diligent enough for your calling, for the calling that is now, for the calling that is, for the calling that is now in your life. I'm getting no more interruptions. I'm getting no more interruptions for you in your life. Seeing everything just elevated, seeing everything elevated, just like that song with Chris Brown and I forgot her name. How can you breathe with no air? Yeah. So your every breath in your body is purposeful. Not just seeing it, but knowing it and feeling it. You're you're in that time now. You're really and truly your life your life your life is telling of is going to be telling a very is now and moving forward is going to be telling a very beautiful story, and a very beautiful story in essence of who you are, showing the world the true artist that you are. So it's time for you, the artist, to go out there and to just become, and again, thanks for sharing the live. Let's see something if we can do. I don't know if I could. All right, man, I made you a moderator. All right, so yeah, so peaceful sleep and very bright and amazing dreams. So pay attention, pay very close attention to your dreams. They're also saying pay attention to your surroundings because everybody that they say like everybody that comes around you isn't your friend. And I heard a story. A lady was saying that she was saying that sometimes you're chosen. You have this light. Sometimes you go in places that you're not supposed to be. Maybe when you're younger, you don't understand. You're just like, oh, cool. I'm gonna go to the club and what's going on, Miss Sweet? How are you? you're like, hey, I'm gonna go to the club and just hang out and have fun, and that's really not like your crowd, but you just go, with your cousins, your friends, whatever, because you just want to hang out, whatever you want to go hang out, want to have fun, but there are, she was saying like she went to the club and it wasn't a place that she was supposed to be, and she was like, there were, like wolves in sheep's clothing, like the guys would, be checking her out and they would be fighting she was like, oh yeah, I got it going on. These guys are fighting to come in, check me out. But, they know it's almost like lambs to the slaughter. You know what I mean? But she said some kind of way she was protected. She made it out of these situations, and, she's older now in life, but just to know that other people can see that light inside of you. Other people can really and truly other people can see that light inside of you, but for you, what I'm saying is that you have a lot more coming in. You just have more, and it's just a whole lot of more. I should have grabbed that other water, but that's cool. But yeah, it's a it's a it's a whole lot more. The rhythm is changing, the music is changing. Like this is the you're in not just a season, but moving forward, you're in seasons where you can really vibe to the music, and you're like, okay, cool, yeah, this is something that I can. Okay, this is like it. This feels different, not in a bad way, but in a great way. This is something that I left that water on there. This is something that I can really, this is something that I can handle this. Like I can handle this. So, just to say that you have choices. I get door number one or door number two. You know, both are both are great in their own ways. One comes more with a lesson, but it comes with a lot of great stuff. I mean, you either door. I don't know. It's like you're. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities coming your way. That's what I'm saying. You're gonna have a lot of opportunities coming your way. It feels like the more work, it feels like the more kingdom work that you do spiritually, the more opportunities are going to come your way. So, this is a time to be in obedience. This is a time to have reverence, to know, um, like that old saying, if you know, then you know. So this is definitely a time of thank you for the heart. So this is definitely a time of obedience. This is definitely a time of reverence. This is a time where I don't know, I get like somebody was going through something, like the grandmother said, baby, pick your head up, because right, because you've got so much in you. So, and going back to the topic, we're talking about remember your power. That's what we're talking about. We're talking about remember your power. I think in the Bible there was a story of was it David? I think. Yeah. So David, when he was the young shepherd boy, I think a lion killed his mom, and the lion came back and was doing something with the sheep, and the lion was in this cave. So he took his slingshot and he went and he faced the lion by himself. So he killed the lion, and he told, I guess that might have been his dad or stepdad. I'm not sure, but so he told his dad, that he killed the lion, and I don't know if they believed him, but we're in times where it's going to be shocking, the things that are going to be happening in your life. People are going to, it's almost like people are going to see your life. They're not gonna believe it, because they remember, how it goes. People remember you from like years ago, like, and let's say you came from a small town, you moved for whatever reason, you went to a, wherever you moved to, you go back to visit from time to time. They see your progression, but it's like everything, it's this metamorphosis period that you're going through, and you're there's gonna come a time real soon when everybody was like, oh man, I don't, the economy, I don't think you should walk away from your job. Something in you told you to do it, and you did it. You stayed diligent. You believe. Um, you were the lightning and you were the lightning and thunder combined in a storm, because you were gonna make, you're going to make noise. That's just what that is. Hey, how are you? So you're going to make noise, no matter what. People cannot shut you down. There's something in you. There, some people might say, oh, you have so much pride, blah blah blah. No, you have pride in yourself, because you're at the prefaces in the beginning of something brand new in your life. Something. No, we're not doing that. Yeah. So you're at the prefaces. You're at the prefaces in something beginning, brand like something brand new in your life, man. And something where people can't take it away. They can't take. It's like that movie. If you ever see the movie, the Antoine Fisher Story, there's a part in the movie he went back to the this lady and her daughter. They did stuff to him when he was younger. I'm not gonna get into that, but he was like, "Look, y'all tried to destroy me, and y'all tried to do this and do that, but he said, I'm still here. I'm still standing. I'm great. I'm stronger." And it was like there was nothing that they could say, because they knew he was speaking the truth. The one lady, she had her head down, and she knew, these were evil people. These people were evil, but I don't know. It's just you always stand out. You're always going to stand out. You always stood out. Some people, you know, your they always say your light, inner light, is always going to bring out people's demons. That's just what it is. You may not see the horns, but you can feel it. When I was working a security job, they would say, it was a certain little area I had to patrol, and they said, "Man, when you walk around, we watch you on the camera, and it's like it's like your face when you see certain people." And I could feel them. I could. This thing is crazy, but yeah. So I could feel. Yeah, how you can just feel like, yeah, how people will say, something told me not to, blah 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 blah. I could feel that that evilness in these people. These people were just, it's not confident. These people were cocky. They wouldn't speak to you. They wouldn't look at you unless they really needed something. They would approach you. Seriously, that's just how they were. That's just who they are. They worship their job. They worship their career, and they worshiped everything that it gave to them. But anyway, but yeah, it's like your inner light is going to bring, it's like your inner light brings out the demons inside of people. And that's just, that's just really and truly, that is just what that is, man. So the important thing is that, keep working with your hands. Keep working with your hands, because that's going to, it's going to bring you to amazing points and amazing things that are going to be happening in your life. Like really and truly. So to those points where you're going to be telling yourself, "Oh, I never thought that this could happen," or I never thought that this could happen to me. When you're on those stages, accepting when when you're in your city, they give you the key. They give you the key to the city when you're, on those platforms, accepting those awards. When you're on YouTube and you're like, "Oh, I made it to a hundred. What is it? I made it to 100,000 subscribers. I made it to, I don't know, the 500 or millions, whatever that is, whatever that's going to be for you, you have a lot of grace over your life. You do. You have a lot of grace over your life. You have, that grace is pointing you in, it's pointing you in superb direction. You have just like, it's like somebody, the guy Michael Jai White, the actor, the martial artist. Somebody said, he's got perfect technique. You have perfect technique in what you do and what it is that you do. You've always had this. You had a savant. You're a savant. It's almost like sitting. It's almost like sitting down at a piano and just, or I don't know. It's almost like sitting down at the piano playing by ear, or picking up a violin for the first time and just like, you play it at a masterful level, and somebody comes in and say, hey, okay, I'm gonna work with you to teach you, and it's like 2 3 weeks. There's like, well, there's nothing more I can, there's nothing more I can teach you. They're like, hey, there's nothing more than that. There's nothing more than that I can teach you, because it's like it's like you're going to be, in your own right, you're a composer. You're brilliant at what it is that you do. You are a true artist. You are a true artist. And let me see if we can turn this way. And thank y'all for tapping the screen. You are a true artist. You're a savant, and it's been like that for a while. Even even like if you have, if you have a family or kids or something like that, people in your family are like that. But I don't know, nobody's ever tried to go do something different, and you're the one to step out, to go in, and you're the one to go out, to step out, and to go in, and to go and do something different. And they say pride comes before the fall. This isn't for you. This is for the people who, I don't know, those people who disappeared and who may try to come back. And oh, that's my cuz. I always thought, I always knew that you could do it. And they're gonna be like, they're gonna think what's yours is theirs, but it doesn't work like that because they didn't put in. That's just. Did it say hindsight is 2020? They don't have the vision. They don't have the vision like you have. They don't, man. They just, whatever, you've got it. You had it, or you've got it. You've had it all your life. This is not just here and the now, but moving forward. These are the times where you do just these immaculate, extravagant things, in and around your life. These are the times, these are the moments where you go forward and you just succeed. You just win. You do like these incredible and amazing things. I don't know who you are, but I see someone going to, like, I see someone going to Paris. I see someone going to Paris. I feel like if this isn't for a vacation, this is a life changing trip. What, I don't know why they do that. Yeah, but this is some kind of a life changing trip. I don't know why Istanbul is coming up. Somebody might be just going all over Europe. This could be some kind of a tour or something, man. Something that either you're putting together, you're going to be invited to, you're probably going to be headlining it. This is something. I don't know. Oh, yeah. So this is something where where you're going to be headlining. I'm getting a world tour. Yeah, I'm very much so getting a world tour. This isn't for you. This could be for, like, for one of your children or something like that. This is This could be for the both of y'all. Y'all, they're like, well, hey, come with me, I'm like, hey, say less. Look, my stuff has been packed. Let's get out of here, like for real, for real. But yeah, um, so this is yeah. So things closure. So this is this is where you see the closure, things, things shutting down, like that old stuff, that a lot of the old stuff is shutting down now. Moving forward, you see a whole bunch of new, a whole bunch of not just new but brand new. Hold on. Not just new but brand new. Yeah, let's not put that there. Yeah, so no. Yeah, so not just, this isn't, it's not new, but it's like it's brand new. Yeah, so there, I just feel like there was like some kind of great shakeup in your life. This could have been some kind of a relationship. This could have been, I don't know. This could have been like someone. This could have been someone passing away suddenly, but something happened, probably within the last 2 to 3 years. Something that's still there with you, but you can feel these people. You can feel in the spirit. Oh, no problem. What's going on, Miss Bayou Diva? But you can feel in the spirit. These people are still with you. They still watch over you. I'm getting interceding and intercession. One of your folks saying that you need to open up your Bible more. They're saying that you need to open up your Bible more and believe in those scriptures. They're saying that you are a part of that biblical bloodline. If you didn't know it, now you know it. You are a part of that biblical bloodline. So, but there are greater things, and there are greater things in front of you than there are behind you. I'll only say it again. There are greater things. There are yeah, very, yep, very much so. So you can there's greater in front of you, than there is than there is behind you. Yeah, so it's time for you to go. It's time for you moving people on. But it's time for you to go and move forward and do greater things in your life and in your world, and um to just to know. And if you and I like we're getting there to understand who we truly are, and what this thing is all about, and what's going on around us, and it's just like so much is happening. you know I'm trying to get these messages out, and these things are popping up, but it's like so much is happening around us, around the world, like at the same time. It's like your growth and your elevation it's like your growth and your elevation is in the time of now. People are going to remember you, even if it's just people in your family. They're going to remember you, as that person that went out and did something different, unique. Even with even with all of your amazing education and all of that good stuff, you went you went on a different. It wasn't, it really wasn't meant for you to be in a wasn't meant for you just to be in an office. It's meant for you to be in an office building. Like seriously. Like if we were playing Monopoly, you don't just go past board. You're supposed to own Boardwalk, man. Like for real. When you walk in a bank, they're going to know you by your first name. Oh, hey, Mr. Such and such. Without you even pulling out your ID or whatever like that. They're going to they're going to know you. People are going to be mesmerized by you. If not by your business endeavors, by they call it your philanthropic endeavors. How you were able to just go and change so many different lives and throughout your city, your state, I don't know, the world, really. Really and truly. It's like you just go and do stuff, and people will find out about it years later, months later, weeks later. Because you weren't let me just get my camera and stick it in some homeless person's face and say, hey, you want a haircut? And but you did it because it was the right thing to do. And people, and oh, thank you for the, I don't know what that is, the goat things. Yeah. So and again, if this is your first time watching, this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. But you're there's increase now coming. There's increase, in over your life. There is, there's so much increase. There one thing that's one thing that's going to be different is you're going to be you're going to be the mentor. Yeah, you're going to be the mentor. Even if you were look, they're saying that you have you have enough. You have more than enough. You've always had more than enough to go and just to go and teach and just to be surrounded by yourself. So soon you may find yourself not just on social media, but that'll be a part of it. But the you're going to see yourself, not just locally, but state, nationwide, worldwide. I'm getting that commercial. Nationwide is on your side, but anyway. So, so you're going to be going. You're going places. You're going places. You're going to be superseding. You're going to be superseded, and you're going to be superseded in who you are. Those people who, I don't know, they might have said no to the loan or whatever that was. They didn't take you at face value, but they will very soon. Before this year is out, before the clock strikes 12, on midnight 2026, your value would have been skyrocketed, like really and truly. Probably one grand business, two other businesses in your name, and moving forward, you doing I don't know, you doing business around the world. I'm getting Dubai. I'm getting Morocco. Um, I'm getting you doing. I'm getting you doing stuff in Europe overseas. So it's not just that you have a certain eye. I don't know who you are, but you have a certain eye for real estate. Oh, okay, cool. I'll all right, catch you next time. Yeah, but you have a certain eye. You have a certain eye for real estate. And they're saying that the eyes have it. You do. You've had it. You've always had it. So you're going to be doing like international, global, real estate on like millions of, you know, yeah. This is going to be big. This is going to be, like your platform is going to take you places that you could have like really and truly never imagined. Because sometimes you may be like, oh, I'm just getting started, and your shifting is going to think. Sorry, your yeah. So there's a powerful shift. It's almost like if think of those old time ships that kind of had to run by a sail. You know what I mean? But you're going to get this gust of wind, and it's just going to take you somewhere that is just going to that is just gonna blow your mind. A lot of this stuff in the beginning, keep it to yourself because you don't want to. You do not want the wrong people to come snoop around. But yeah, definitely, in the very, very beginning of it, definitely keep it to yourself. There's so much. There are so many blessings. There's so much kingdom restoration and building. You've always had the magic touch. You've always had that magic touch, Joe. So now it's time for you. Yeah. So if you're here, I'm talking to you. So if now it's time for you to now it's time for you to see the growth, to feel the growth, to have it, to touch it, to really and truly touch it in your hands. A lot of your manifestations are about to come through, and they're about to come through very fast, very hard. And it's gonna be like, man, you're just gonna be sitting there. It's like it's interesting. I was watching a video of this lady, and she says, you work so hard for the money, and when it's almost. Let me see. Let me get this story together. Okay, so you're going to start a business. One of the businesses, somebody's going to come and buy you out, like to the point where you're going to be able to retire from this. What she was saying was that when you get to the point of, you work so hard, but you finally have the money in your account, and it's like you're going to have these thoughts of, you're going to be thinking about the money, but you're going to be thinking of ways to invest it, to grow, to let it grow, and all of that stuff like that. So this is pull up season. People are going to start pulling up. I had a dream about this. Yeah, so people people, this is pull up season. This stuff is going to start to pull up to you, like really, 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 really and truly. This is it's you it's like you have no ideas of the and again, if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. So this is your time of congratulations. This is your time of winning. This is your time of this is your time of like season's greetings. This is not just the beginning. This is the beginning of new beginnings for you. Like really, really and truly, this is a time of growth. This is a time of elevation. This is a time for this is your time. People say, "Oh, I need some me time." This is saying that, "Hey, what's going on, ma'am? How are you?" This is a time where you, you know, you need to get ideas together, put courses, put courses out there for people who you've undervalued yourself. You need to go back and look at, like somebody told me recently, in the month of August, you need to go back and reevaluate some stuff, because when you put this stuff out, this isn't for people. you know People are going to see you. They're going to see your net worth. They're going to be able to see it, but you need to see it beforehand. You need to see how much you're worth. You need to understand it. You need to be able to from a business standpoint. You need to be able to you need to be able to, like, set all of your cards on the table, like, now. You need to. This is a time for you to reinvest in yourself. This is really. Yep, I know. I'm getting that song. Is that song? I don't know. It's Kiara or Tasha Cobb sings, where she says, "There's a miracle in this room. What's your name on it?" And she says, "I'm going to put a praise on it." So yeah, man. It's time. Yeah, it's time to do the shout, the happy dance, whatever it is. You go in your backyard, do some back foot, whatever it is you need to go do. But yeah, it's the raining. It's the rain. It's rain season. It's the raining season. It's the rainy season for you. Like in the savannah. I watch a lot of, like National Geographic with the animals, and some of them will leave because there's no water. The water is about to come in abundance. You're going to own the watering hole. Like seriously, the water is going to come in abundance. So, it's like there's no need for you. People are going, I'm telling you, people are going to start to reach out. People are going to start to, whatever it is that you do. Yeah. So it's if you haven't been able to smile in a while, look, you're about to do, man, you're not just, I'm not saying that you're going to be abundantly happy for, you are about to be like, you're an interceder. You don't know how, see, that's, man, you don't know how powerful your prayers are. And if nobody's telling you, I'm telling you now. You're a prayer warrior. You're an interceder. You've got this. I see like people surrounding you. You know how like in the world. Yeah, you know how back you see when you try to get these messages out. People. Anyway, so you're an interceder. This is your time of intercession. You got like the calling on. You've got this. You've always had this powerful calling on your life. So now it's your time. This is your powerful grace point. Really and truly, this is your powerful grace point. I see somebody at a podium, almost like they're being recognized by the mayor of their city. For something. This is your grace point. Yeah. So this is a time. This is a time of your life where you're going to show them better than This is, I don't know what state that is. The whatever in America is like the show me state. So there's a movement on your life. There's a move coming in. You're about to show them better than you could have ever told them. Again, you are going to show them better than you could ever have told them. Hard work, yes, but hard work comes with a lot of rewards. It comes with a lot of rewards. So hard work comes with a lot. Like hard work comes with a lot of reward, like a lot. So you're going to be able to, just with the word grace, how blessed you are. How your businesses are about to explode, and how you're going to be really all over the place. Not in a bad way, but that's how you're about to become. Um, you're about to become in demand. You're really and truly. It's gonna when you hear like word is about to get back to you how people have been talking, not in a bad, not this isn't bad, but how people have been talking about you. People say, people talk about you in rooms that you never blah 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 blah, but your name has been mentioned. Like, there's this person that comes online and blah blah. I'm telling you, it's coming. Like they say, you never know who's watching. You never know. You never know. You never know who's watching, and you never know how you're affecting people, in a positive way. It- it's almost like when you speak, you put people in a trance. People can't help to stop and watch and look, and people are going to be graced by your presence and your smile and your your high IQ and business. But just to leave you with this, you're really and truly, you're about to be in demand. You're going to be able to name your price. That's why I was saying, go back and look at some stuff, the stuff that you might have done before. You're like, oh, I'm gonna try to put this out again. I'm getting it. Is saying name your price. So this time around, you're not gonna be able to sell yourself short because these people are going to know you and know your value. Let's see. See, you've been giving all those. Anyway, so yeah, but people are going to know you. They're going to, people are going to be able to know you, see you. They're going to know your value. You're coming out of that valley, whatever that was. You were there for a while. It's like feels like you were sitting there. It's almost like being sitting in a doctor's office. And you get there on time. And you get there on time. And anyway, I'm telling you, this is you're moving into a season of personal, your own personal hairstylist, your own personal. You're gonna have, like, when you go to the bank, you're gonna have your own personal banker, like your very own personal banker. Like, just for you, just like this person. They're going to know you. This could be the branch manager. Asking you, hey, you wanna, um, look, we've seen your company. We know what you do. We've done our research. We want to open up a line of credit for you. They're gonna, like, don't worry. Even if you don't need it, it'll be here for, it'll be here for you. Seriously, this is, this is where, so you gotta you gotta mentally, like, mentally be in that zone. You gotta get focused. You gotta get focused now. This isn't for everybody. Where you're walking down a red carpet. People are in buildings that are crumbling, and so a lot of the old is passing away, and you're being uplifted with the new. But yeah, I'm just sitting here running my mouth. But all right, y'all. Again, I'll just leave you this. You're about to become a guru of gurus, and what it is that you do, what it is that you know, and who it is that you are becoming. In the now. So there's no more denying. There's no more denying your lineage. Things have shifted. Things have shifted. Things have shifted. And again, if this is your first time watching, don't forget to subscribe. If you're going to be purposed and poised to believe in yourself, those people who tried to stop you, they were like access denied, delayed, whatever. They're going to pay, and they're going to pay dearly without you really having to do anything. You may be a person and say, like, oh, well, I don't want anything bad to happen to anybody. Well, you may now. But those that walk with you, you know, the God that you believe in, that's inside of you, those angels that are with you, God doesn't play about his children. He doesn't. And we're in a time, and we're in a season where you're going to see it. You're going to see it more and more, so. But yeah, that's pretty much all I have for today, folks. Thank y'all so much for joining. I get to go and take care of some stuff. But happy Wednesday out there, everybody, and don't forget to subscribe. I will holla at y'all. What's tomorrow, Thursday? If I come on tomorrow, it'll probably be a little early, but I'll holla at y'all tomorrow, man. And y'all have a great day. And as always, I'm out this. Peace. Oh, no problem. Peace.